Hello again. You know, once upon a time, when I was 10 years old, I watched MacGyver and Knight Rider and A-Team every single day around afternoon after I got back from school. So suffice to say that I have a pretty big place in my heart for the A-Team. Now, the movie version of the A-Team, which came out just last week, is like the crankified version of the A-Team, meaning that they made it brighter, they made it louder, they made it smarmier, snazzier, and dumber. Now, I'm not saying that the original show was Shakespeare or anything, but maybe it's because it was a TV show, but they didn't need to beat you over the head with some stuff. Like the fact that Face was a womanizer, like the fact that Hannibal was a genius, like the fact that B.A. Baracus really likes the word fool and he uses it a lot. I mean, seriously now, are the kids today dumber than they were 20 years ago? Because based on this movie, it's just like, you can make the plot as incoherent as you want as long as stuff is blowing up. Because this movie is like missiles!
Kaboom!
And actually, I was warned that the action in the A-Team is kind of implausible. Stuff is always blowing up, you're not very sure why, because even the editing is kind of all over the place. But that would be fine. I was ready for that. What I was not ready for is the fact that 2/3 of this movie takes place in Germany. And you have people running down the streets in a German city kind of firing their guns. And I bet that at the end of this movie there are hundreds of innocent bystanders that were gunned down. And I understand that the good guys need to get the bad guys, and they need to get the plagues because they were framed because of the counterfeit money, because inflation is fucked up and nobody deserves to have a printing press under these conditions. But why do you gotta blow up Germany to do it? You Americans should deal with this shit within your own fucking borders. That's all I'm saying. I do gotta hand it to Joe Carnahan because I think he was the perfect director for this. If you watch Smoking Aces, then you know that Joe Carnahan really likes to set up the pieces like a chessboard and then at the end reveal everything. And so he's kind of big with the plans and everything, and during this movie several times there were situations when they were explaining the plan and at the same time they were applying the plan. And that way, you know, you can save time and at the same time you still leave room for surprises. I also really like the fact that you really got a sense that these actors were having fun on the set. Their performances were as good as could be expected, but what's really authentic about them is the fact that they're just little kids living their dreams, basically. Especially Sharlto Copley, he's just having a blast. He's almost like Simon Pegg in Star Trek. An example of this is that scene when Bradley Cooper is shooting down planes from inside the tank who is in free fall. Now this scene doesn't make any kind of sense, but Bradley Cooper really sells it because he's just so happy to fire his big gun. There are a couple of things that threw me off character-wise, including the fact that B.A. Baracus is pretty much a month throughout half the movie because he's sworn off violence. There's also the fact that they pretty much turned Face into Hannibal Smith Jr. You can really tell that Face and Hannibal have a much closer relationship, and Face also kind of picks up on the military genius responsibilities that Hannibal had. From that whole perspective of grown-ass men pretty much acting like idiots, especially for this movie and especially for this director, I have to say that I really had fun with it. Even Patrick Wilson, who I always thought is a serious dramatic actor, he shows up in this and he just plays his part completely over the top, excess cheesiness, but you can't really be pissed at the guy because you can see he's always playing the dramatic roles. He just showed up willing to have some fun. Even Don Draper shows up for this movie right at the end. I mean, Jon Hamm, who's winning awards after awards for his work on Mad Men, showed up for a 2-bit part in the A-Team. Now that's love.